In the 1960s, the monetarists versus the Keynesian activist monetary policy advocates had a debate that had really just begun. But it seemed a winner could already be declared. In the 1960s and the 1970s, an unusual degree of professional consensus existed in macroeconomics. The campers, the Keynesian activist monetary policy advocates, were clear favorites. There was a Keynesian consensus. The Great Depression had seemed to show that there were weak equilibrating properties in economies, which really hurts the monetarist approach. And World War II was utilized as an example of increasing G, and as a result, having very low unemployment. The Keynesian approach seemed to explain the economy. The Keynesian consensus did not just exist in the theoretical academic debates. From the mid-1960s through the 70s, monetary policy was activist. The campers reigned. But this reign would not last. In this lecture series, we talk about why. Why did the consensus unravel? What happened? Well, our story starts with the Fed aiming to control the economy with monetary policy adjustments, and their primary approach to this was to look at two key macroeconomic variables, feeling that everything else would pretty much fall into place with control over the two variables of unemployment and inflation. Unemployment and inflation objectives were targeted in a way that was shaped by assuming trade-offs, and these trade-offs began to be called the Phillips Curve relationship. What was the relationship between these two variables, and how could we draw a graph representing this? If you've read anything about the Phillips curve, you know it's going to be this trade-off between inflation and unemployment. Go ahead and try and pause the video and see if you can come up with what that relationship would be. As inflation goes up, unemployment should go down. So the higher we have inflation, the less unemployment we should have. So we should have this downward sloping relationship that we showed here. This is going to be the crux of the debate that is going to range between the campers and the monetarists over what is happening in terms of monetary policy and activist policy in a macroeconomy. The debate is going to center on the Phillips curve. To continue on in this lecture series, click the video for more.